We've now got an introduction to Redux, so it's time to make a little bit more, complex application, something that we'd be proud to deploy to the App Store. Now there's one major feature that we still don't really know how to handle yet, something that is absolutely necessary for being able to make a compelling application, and that is navigation, the ability for a user to move around to different pages in our app and see different content as they navigate around. Now we did already kind of toggle in and out some components when we were working on the authentication app, but that was a little hackish. We had like an if statement and we conditionally returned some amount of JSX. Now that's okay for very simple navigation, but I want to make something that will scale to a very large application. So we need a better solution for navigation. We need one that is going to scale to an app of many different pages. So that's going to be the focus of the next app we're going to work on. We're going to figure out how to navigate a user around in our application correctly. So let's start the application or the installation of a new React Native project, and then we'll discuss the app that we're going to be making. So I'm inside of my general workspace directory here, and I'm going to make a new project by using the React Native CLI. So I'll use React Native init, and I'm going to call this app Manager. So while that installs, let's take a look at a mock-up for the application that we're going to build. All right, here we go. Now, this app is going to look a little bit small, only 4 screens here, but trust me, please trust me. There is a tremendous amount of hidden complexity and challenges tucked in here. So even though it looks a little bit small, we will absolutely have our hands full, and you are going to learn a tremendous number of new concepts. The idea behind this app is that a manager of a small business can add their employees. So like right now we've got 2 sample employees of Sarah and Jeff, and then designate a schedule for them. So like maybe a shift starting on Monday, and then text that schedule to the particular employee. Okay, so definitely a practical use case here. If I was running like a small business, like say McDonald's or Subway or something like that, and I just want to manage the schedules of all my employees. And then once I set the schedule, I want to text it directly to the employee. Okay, so that's a pretty darn practical use case here. So let's walk through each screen really quickly and then get started in the next section. So on the first screen, we have the login screen. Yep, again, we're going to tackle authentication here. So the login screen is going to be just like the one that we made previously. A user has to enter an email and password. We're going to reuse the same trick we had before, where we don't have a separate sign-up screen. We're just going to have a single login form, and if the user doesn't have an account, then we'll just make one for them right away. After a user logs in, they should be presented with a list of all the different employees that they have. So of course this list screen right here, this employee list, is going to start off as empty because by default a user does not have any employees. Only over time, after they start adding employees, will they be able to see some number appear here on this screen on the list. The third screen here has a little bit of a dual purpose, and this is going to be a point of just a tremendous amount of discussion here. This third screen is going to be used for both creating and editing employees. Okay, so like kind of one form that is responsible for creating an employee and also editing an employee as well. And again, we're going to have a lot of discussion about how to best handle creation and editing of resources. Finally, a manager sometimes they got to make the tough decisions. And so if they decide that they want to remove an employee or kind of like fire them via the fire button down here, we're going to show a big modal message to the user and say, hey, are you sure you want to fire this person? And they're going to have to click yes or no to actually remove the employee. Okay, again, this might seem like a small application, but believe me, there is really a lot of hidden complexity in here, a lot of very good lessons to learn. So let's continue the next section and we'll discuss what some of these challenges are.